All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you for coming back to the podcast. First game is behind us. Let's go, man. Let's start getting these rolling. So, very excited about that. Joey's not here, unfortunately, so it's just me, Trevor, breaking it down for you guys. ND defeats Trent Johnson's C-Sun squad 68-52. First half was a little slow, but let's go with a quick recap real quick. B. West led the way with 21. Now, if any ND fan is sitting there saying that they saw that coming, you're lying to yourself, you're lying to the rest of us. What a game, what a performance, probably one of the best freshman performances, debuts, I should say, from a Notre Dame freshman in a long time. People that come to mind for me is Chris Thomas. I don't know if you guys know him, but he dropped a triple-double in his first game. Not that this lived up to that, but still a heck of a performance for a freshman. Dane gave us 18. Paul Atkins was 16. We shot 59% from the field, 41% from three. Sounds about right. We did have 12 turnovers, 14 assists to go along with that. Prentice Hub did have 6. I had to throw that in there for the P-Hub fans out there. Let's go to the C-Sun side, though. Their leading scorer was Atkins Wright. He had 12, all 12 in the first half. 4 big threes. Actually looked like they might stick with us if they kept up that kind of shooting. Thankfully, they did not. Their lead guard, D. Brown, had 9. My first takeaway from them, though, is they felt comfortable going down low in attack, and Paul and Nate. We'll touch more on that later. But C-Sun shot 50% from 3, which was only 6 of 12, but still 44% from the field. So that's just a quick recap from that. My takeaways personally, Blake Wesley, man. I think we're all on the train. I think we all should be on the train. I mean, I think he did a little bit of everything tonight. Kind of put on a show. I wouldn't say it was like, anything crazy, but hitting mid-range pull-ups. The 3-ball was looking good. I know when he was coming in this year, that kind of a big thing for him was 3-point shooting. I think he kind of put that, story to rest for a little bit, at least one game. He did have a few highlight plays in my book. He had that transition dunk where he went down the baseline and threw one down. It was a little bit of a rim rocker, but still. Then he also had that late game. They were starting to pick up the pressure a little bit. PA was coming to set a screen for him. He spun off of it, left his defender behind him, went up and got fouled at the rim. I think these are plays that, we really only have probably him on the whole roster that can go out and do that kind of stuff. Especially at the mid-range pull-ups, creating for himself and stuff like that. I think he's carving his role out real quick for us. My guess would be he'd be in the starting lineup before long. Don't know who that takes away from. If not, he's still that 6th man off the bench. Him and Trey Wertz came in together. They were the only 2 subs we did bring in until we finally brought in JR with like 2 minutes to go. So we went 8 deep technically, but 7 for the most part. That just being Trey and Blake. So moving on, Dane Goodwin, somebody who Joey and I kind of agreed is typically our 4th or 5th option in the offense. Came out and tied his career high in threes for a game with 6. Without that, I don't know where this game goes. I don't know how this game goes. So he stepped up big. He didn't look like he was hesitating at all. Just catching and letting it fly. Last year he didn't shoot the 3-ball all that well, or as well as he could have. He came out firing, which was great to see. Hopefully that can keep up. Moving on to the old Paul Atkins. He posted 16 and 6. I'd say it's a pretty solid debut coming in. I wish we went to him more. He did have the opening bucket for us. I kind of thought that might mean that we were going to go down low to him. I would have liked to see us go, to him more, like I just said. He's got good post moves, good footwork. The thing I was a little concerned with is, his first game. Don't get me wrong. Some of his passing out of the post was a little off. Weren't the most accurate balls. Bray and the other coaches have talked about his passing ability, so I'm sure this is just a one-time thing. But would have liked to see that be a little sharper. From when the offense threw him a little bit more of them, kind of maybe throw some backdoor passes, things like that. Didn't see a whole lot of that. He finished with 3 turnovers. He kind of had moments where he did a little too much. Again, I think that'll calm down. Just kind of generally speaking, the Notre Dame offense, we don't really force a whole lot. We didn't tonight. We typically don't. One of the best teams in not turning the ball over each year. I mean, and now kind of like some of the smaller stories, if you will. Prentice Hub did not score in this ball game. I think that might be the only time in his career he's never scored in a whole game. He didn't really look like himself. I don't know if they just had his number or if it just wasn't his night. Credit to him, though, in the fact that he didn't really force a whole lot. He just kind of was getting the ball to the people who needed it, and when they needed it, let them try and do something. He did finish the game with 6 assists, so he still did his thing and sent people up. He just didn't really have that edge to him that I think we all know comes with Prentice Hub. Kind of seemed more relaxed. It might have been a little different if the game were per se, a little closer, especially in that second half. We were up by 10 for, from about the halfway mark in the second half. So I don't know if he just kind of took his foot off the pedal then or what, but obviously, I highly doubt this will be something that we see time and time again. I think the first 3 years of his career proved that to not be the case. So I can only imagine this offense with P-Hub going to add that into it all. Touching on the guy that I've been kind of in the preview very high on, and Nate. If there is one player that I would personally say I'm a little concerned with, it's Nate. Not even just with the 4 points, 8 boards, just kind of the aggressiveness that I was talking about. Wanting to see more from him on. I didn't really see it on offense or on defense. Joey and I agreed going into this that we thought our size would kind of be a strength. I don't think we really saw that as much. Paul had some success. Nate didn't really get the ball down low too much. Blake hit him on a nice slip pass, got him the ball, and finished at the rim. But other than that, he didn't really look comfortable. Actually, when he caught it down low, it seemed like he was passing out real quick, just going to set more screens and things like that. But so he looked a little shaky. On defense, he looked overmatched just about on either big he was guarding. That's the part I'm really concerned with, especially with the teams that we're going to play this year. As we all know, the ACC has some boys. Throw Indiana into that mix, throw Kentucky into that mix, Illinois. I think I just said that, but I mean that's not a good sign because Paul didn't really look all that much more comfortable down there either. So hopefully we're going to be a typical ND year where our offense kind of makes up for our defense. I think our overall defense looked better. I think we forced more turnovers than we normally do. Stayed in front of our man a little bit better. Shout out to Cormac Ryan because that guy was he was hustling on the defensive side of the ball, but we'll get to him in a second. He finished with 4 points, 4 boards, and 2 assists. I personally, and I know Joey agrees because this is his boy, but expect and believe he will provide more than that on a daily basis, gamely basis, whatever. But oddly enough, he still is probably the only ND player that I think you come out of this game and you go, wow, that guy still had a good game. He hustles so much. He played great defense on both Brown and Wright in the second half, 2 guys that were kind of showing in the first half that they could be a problem. I think he's a big part of how we kind of started to slow them down and give them less looks. He had one big play that kind of stood out. He had a rebound and put back that put us up 10. Other than that, he just kind of played his steady self where he just hustles, sets people up, always plays hard, that kind of stuff. Didn't force nothing, didn't turn the ball over. Actually, he had one, but still just nothing sloppy. So I really liked what Cormac did still, even with that stat line, which says something about him. Trey came out, honestly, it attests to our depth that he can come out. He still played about 22 minutes or something like that, but he had some big shots and big moments and stuff like that, just kind of to put our foot on their neck at the end of the game, which you got to have, though. I mean, we're just so deep at that guard position. It's so cool to see how many weapons we have. I expect him to have a bigger game, better game as they all kind of start to figure out their roles and different things like that. the best part about our team is any one of these dudes can go off each game. You know, it's one of those things where it's actually pretty rare. I can't think of an ND team that we've had quite like it. You know, some of the things that I was a little bit concerned with, we had 12 turnovers. You know, granted, it's the first game. So, you know, stepping on the sidelines and things like that. You know, I think a lot of it would be cleaned up, and you know, I think we'll reduce that number and still be one of the best teams in the country and not turning the ball over. You know, Trey and Paul kind of had weird little like dribbling the ball off their legs things, so I think stuff like that will be reduced moving forward. I think our defense looked a little better. We had some lapses, especially finding shooters at certain moments, but a lot of it I think was improved upon. You know, we'll see moving forward as the competition gets better, but I thought it looked pretty good. My biggest concern was how Nate and Dane looked on down low on defense. Very, very concerned about that. I don't think I can put it in any other way. I think, you know, defense was the message coming in. I think seeing the first game, granted it's only one game, you know, which is what should be said about this whole game in general. You know, how everybody played, it's only one game, good or bad. You know, next game out, we'll see, you know, how this team, you know, will really look. But yeah, I'd say Nate and Paul, I'm sorry, were my concerns. Dane Goodwin, when he was kind of by himself, I think he had a couple possessions where he held his own in one-on-one matchups, but I also feel like he's somebody they attacked and their players felt comfortable when he was guarding them. So, you know, he gives the effort. Obviously, when he puts up 18 points and hits 6 threes on the other side of the ball, you know, you kind of shrug it off a little bit. But moving forward, we'll see how that goes. I did want to throw Joey's takeaways in here real quick. He is the man behind this whole thing anyways. I think he deserves that. He's got a great point here with Hub, Ryan, and Words combining for only 9 points, and we still won by 16. I think that speaks for itself. He's got a great point in there. I mean, if you can even really wrap your head around that, because these dudes are obviously going to play better, a lot better, I'd say. So what that does to our offense moving forward, who knows? But that's kind of scary to think about, in all honesty. He really liked what Paul and Blake did. You know, I can't blame him there. Paul was our force down low. You know, we didn't really have many buckets within the three-point line other than him. Blake, I think Cormac got that one layup. So I don't know the last time we've had a big quite like Paul. You know, we didn't really have many buckets within the three-point line other than him. Blake, I think Cormac got that one layup. So I don't know the last time we've had a big quite like Paul, who looks so comfortable with the ball down low, has so many moves and just, you know, things like that. My brother threw out the reference of Luke Herringody. I know for us ND fans that's kind of high praise, but he really did. Kind of was just that guy that, you know, you're fine with him getting the ball down low. Again, I wish we gave it to him more. I think he could have truly been our leading scorer like Joey and I predicted, but I will not complain with Blake Wesley being the guy who led the way, and I'll never be that guy. So he does want to mention that he believes the offense will get better. He's not very concerned with it yet, which I would agree with. You know, to put a stamp on this thing and mark it as complete after one game doesn't sound like the right thing to do. You know, I'd love to think that Nate and Prentice are going to step up and be senior leaders and have, you know, good seasons. Just even if it is what they did last year, I'd take that all day, especially with the rest of the guys around them taking steps. In addition, like Blake Wesley, again, this team can be very, very scary, and I would love to see what we can do if it all comes together. So my final recap on this whole thing is Blake Wesley is the real deal. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We can all go home. No, I'm kidding. That just what a performance. I think he did a little bit of everything to kind of gain the attention and respect that we all need to be giving him from the get-go. He went out and showed us, so that was awesome to see. Nate and Prentice will be better if they start going. Obviously, like I just said, this team will become to be special. Our defense looked better, can improve. greatly. Still, I think it's a night in and night out thing. A lot to do with effort and communication and things like that. But still, I think it can improve. Now to get down to the best part of this whole thing is in our preview, Joey said he had the team winning by 10 to 15. I said I had us winning by 15 to 20. We won by 16. So clearly that means I'm better at this than he is. So, no, I'm kidding. But we also had Paul Atkinson as our projected leading scorer. It turned out to be Blake Wesley, so we're both wrong there. That is all I got, though, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate everybody for watching. Moving forward, I look forward to keep doing this with Joey. I do got to give that guy a shout out, though. I would really appreciate it if you guys left some comments and giving him praise and shout outs, because he runs this whole thing, does a great job at it, and takes a lot of time and effort to put all this stuff together. So I give him major props. I appreciate him letting me come on and doing this one too. So next time Joey will be back on. Actually, leave your guys' ideas away from the game. I'm a stumbling, mumbling fool right now, but leave your takeaways. Put that into the comment section. Let us see what what your highlights were of this game, what your thoughts were on this game, and maybe we can talk back, comment back, and all that kind of stuff. But again, thank you, Joey. Thank you, ND Nation. Let's hope for another big game, another win in Game 2. Later.